So now let's continue. What happened after that? So here he waited until they came. Like I really like this idea. I mean, like he didn't go directly at Jack and start slapping him or hitting him. No, he kept extremely silent. He didn't say a word, until like he kept waiting for them until all of them came, and then yet the word like he heard them, and then Biggie sniveled and Simon shushed him quickly as though he had spoken too loudly in a church. Like Biggie started to talk, but Simon he keeps silent because Simon knew that Jack could kill, like Jack could harm Biggie. So like Simon charged him quickly, shh, as though he had spoken too loudly in a church, as if like he made a mistake and he spoke too loudly in a church. Like whenever we are like according to Christian, like we as Muslims, if someone is in the mosque, we shouldn't speak loudly, right? The mosque is not the place to speak loudly with others. The mosque is a place where you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So especially if someone is there. So when Big started like to say something, like Simon charged him quickly, like asked him to keep silent. Jack, his face smeared with clay, reached the top first and hailed Rolf excitedly with lifted spear. Look, we've killed a pig. We stole up on them. We got in a circle. Like now, Jack, without anything, he said, like, look, we killed the pig. So for sure, Jack and his hunter didn't know about the ship. And then and he said he was excited and he said that look, we killed the pig and we stole up them. Yeah. And he kept talking. And all other hunters, like we got in a circle, we crept up, the pig squealed, the twins stood with the pig swinging between them, dropping black gouts on the rock. They seemed to share one wide ecstatic grin. Ecstatic means smile, grin means a smile. So everyone was happy. Jack had too many things to tell Rolf at once. Jack wanted to tell Rolf a lot of things about killing and so on. Instead, he danced a step or two, then remembered his dignity and stand still. So Jack started dancing, and then he remembered that he was a leader and he shouldn't. He remembered his dignity, that he shouldn't dance in front of his hunter. So he stood, grinning. He was smiling. He noticed the blood on his hands and grimaced distastefully. Like when he saw blood on his hand at the beginning, like he didn't like that. Grimaced. It means he had like an angry face expression. Looked for something on which to clean them, then wiped them on his shorts and laughed. So now Jack was extremely excited, was extremely happy to the degree that he started to dance, and then like remembered his image in front of other children. So he stood still, he started smiling, and there was blood on his hand. When he saw the blood, it was distasteful. He hated the blood and he wanted to clean his hands. So here he wiped them on his shorts and he kept laughing. Finally, Ralph spoke. What did he say? What did Ralph say? If you were Ralph, what would you say? So Ralph said, you let the fire go out. This is the sentence that he told them. You let the fire go out. Jack didn't care. He was too happy. He was too happy to reply. You see that he said, we can light the fire again. You should have been with us, Ralph. We had a smashing time. The twins got knocked over, so we hit the big Eiffel on the top. So like the others were really excited because of the killing, because of the hunting. You see? So he said that, okay, who cares? We can just make another fire. He was too happy just, to start a fight. And then each one of them spoke. Each one of them spoke. I cut the pig's throat, said Jack proudly. He was proud of himself. He said that I cut the pig's throat, and yet twitched, as he said it. Can I borrow yours, Ralph, to make a neck in the hilt? You see? So he said the boy shut and danced. The twins continued to grin. So here, as you see, we have two groups of children now. Two groups of children. Simon, Biggie, Ralph, Maurice. Like these children were extremely, let's say, especially Ralph. He was extremely angry because there was a ship that missed them because there was no fire. And he was disappointed because of the indifference and the irresponsibility of the hunters. They were supposed to look for the fire, to keep it on, and they didn't. On the other side, we have much, much, much like extremely happy, extremely excited hunters led by Jack.
No, Jack.
Jack. And
Jack
Jack,
and his
like,
hunter.
yeah, they were dancing, they were singing, they were happy, they were like, grinning, they were smiling because of the hunting, because they were able to hunt a pig. And every time, like even when Ralph said, you let the fire go out, like Jack said that who cares? We can light the fire again. But look, you should have been with us. We had a smashing time. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. We have so much fun.
He
And
didn't know yet that there was a ship.
and even if they knew, they didn't care anymore. you know,
Yes,
because now
because he hunts.
yeah, because he started hunting. Yes. So now we have the boy chattered and danced at the twin. Yeah. So they were like dancing and singing and nobody cared. There was the leashing of blood, said Jack, laughing and shuddering. You should have seen it. He said that, you know, imagine blood. He loved seeing blood, like spilling blood, like the animal's blood. He said that you should have been there. We will go hunting every day. Like now they feel excited like this, that we will go hunting every day. Like they love to kill animals now. Now their civilization is started to disappear. In any civilized community, you're not supposed to kill animals in that way. In civilized communities, like, you know, European people and so on, they look at African as savages, because Africans kill animals, and they think that even Africans kill themselves. But like, to tell you the truth, like, according to this story and so many other stories in the English literature, we're going to find the truth that it is not real. Anyone living in a place without rules is a savage. Is savage, you know. We follow the rules not because like we're civilized. No, we follow the rules because we're afraid. If there are no rules, if there are no rules, do you think what prevents people from killing each other or stealing right now? Why people do not, like, you know, do not like, you know, shoplift? You know, why do people, like, when people go to the supermarket and so on, most people are like respected and they never steal anything from the supermarket, most people. Do you think why? And do you think that if supermarkets do not have any kind of cameras and there were no policemen and there wasn't any kind of authority, do you think that all people will respect the law, or will people will be, like, you know, civilized? Do you expect that?
No,
So I think it's something. If you think people, like, you know, have, like, you know, traveling by train, if there is no one to collect the tickets, do you think that all people will pay for their tickets?
no.
No, it's true. So here we have in this island now, on this island, we have no laws. Like children now are a group of people living on an island, no parents, no laws, no policemen, no rules, nothing. So they said that we'll go hunting every day. Ralph spoke again hoarsely. He hadn't moved. He didn't say anything else. He kept saying that you let the fire go out, as if he heard nothing. This repetition, when he repeated the same sentence, like imagine now an angry one, an angry person saying and repeating the same sentence over and over again, and he didn't care about anything he said. So he says that this repetition made Jack uneasy. He looked at the twins and then back at Ralph. Like, this is Jack. He said that we had to have them in the hunt. He says that we needed them in order to have them in the hunt, or there wouldn't be been enough for a ring. He said that we needed to have a circle around the animal, so the animal couldn't move the circle. We will trap the animal. He flushed, conscious of a fault. Like now, he started to know that there was a mistake. Fault was a mistake. He said the fire's only been out an hour or two. He said that the fire was out only for an hour or two. We can light up again. He noticed Ralph scared. Yes, so he says that now he thought charitable in his happiness to include them in the things that he had happened. His mind was crowded with memories of the knowledge that he had come to them when they closed in on the struggling pig. Yeah, now this one, like Ralph, like Jack, didn't care about anything else. He just cared about like the experience of hunting. Like his mind was full of crowded ways. It means full of memories, good memories, full of knowledge about that they had, like, you know, when they struggled a big, when, you know, on the close of the struggling big, how they get closed in the struggling big, they made a circle, and this circle became smaller and smaller and smaller, so that the big couldn't run anywhere, and then they like Jack, like, you know, stabbed him and he cut its throat. Notice that they had outwitted a living thing, imposed their will upon it, taken away its life like a long, satisfying drink. So now he was extremely happy that he was able to be stronger than a pig, and he loved it. Again, he spread his arms wide. You should have seen the blood. Again, like he didn't even reply. You should have seen the blood. Now the hunters were more silent now, but at this they buzzed again. Ralph flung back his hair, one arm pointed at the empty horizon. His voice was loud and savage and struck them into silence. There, like now, suddenly he said loudly, there was a ship. There was a ship. Jack faced at once with too many awful implications. Yes, awful implications. There was a ship, and there was no fire, there was no smoke. So he tugged away from them. He laid a hand on the bag and drew his knife. Again, he didn't care. He went again to his bag, and Ralph brought his arm down, first clenched, and his voice shook. There was a ship out there. You said you would keep the fire going, and you let it out. He took a step forward toward Jack, who turned and faced him. Now we have a clear conflict. A clear conflict. Ralph is facing Jack. He told him, like quietly, angrily, but I mean like quietly. There was a ship, and you said you would keep the fire going. Nobody pushed you to say that. You said that. You said you were responsible for the fire. And now he get closer to Jack, and Jack now turned back and faced him. They might have seen us. We might have gone home. He said that they might have seen us. It is not true. There was too bitter for Biggie. This was too bitter for Biggie, who forgot his timidity in the agony of his loss. He began to cry out. Biggie started to cry out. He said that you and your blood, Jack, you and your hunting, we might have gone home. Like Biggie now is angry and crying. Like Ralph pushed Biggie to one side. Like Ralph pushed Biggie away. I was chief, and you were going to do what I said. You talk, but you can't even build huts. Then you go off hunting and you let out the fire. He said that I am the chief. Ralph said that I am the leader. And you were going to do what I said. You were supposed to do what I told you to do. You talk, but you can't even build huts. You didn't help me with building shelters. And then you went hunting and you let out the fire. He turned away silent for the moment. Then his voice came again. There was a ship again. One of the smaller hunters began to wail. Wail means cry loudly. The dismal truth was like filtering through to everybody. Jack went very red as he hacked and pulled at the pig. Like, now Jack knew that he made a mistake. He said that now he wanted to give an excuse. What was his excuse? The job was too much. He said that we needed everyone. In order to hunt, we needed everyone. So we didn't care about the fire. You could have had everyone when the shelters were finished, but you had to hunt. He said that, yeah, you see that if when the shelters were finished, you could have had, like, we could all come to you if the shelters were finished, but you had to hunt. You had to hunt. He said that we needed meat. Then Ralph stood up and said this, the blooded knife in his hand. The two boys faced each other like Ralph and Jack. Now I'd like to imagine them standing up facing each other. There was the brilliant word of hunting, tactics, fierce exaggeration, skill, and there was a world of longing and baffled common sense. Jack transferred the knife to his left hand and smudged blood over his forehead as he pushed down the plastered hair. So imagine, like Jack took fire, like the blood, and put it on his head, on his forehead. Biggie began again. You didn't ought to have let that fire out. You said you would keep the smoke going. Biggie and Ralph, both of them were like verbally attacking Jack, blaming him for his irresponsibility. Jack was obsessed with hunting, and he didn't care about the fire. This from Biggie and the wails of agreement from some of the hunters drove Jack to violence. Now Jack became violent. What did he do? What did he do? What did he do? Do you think what Jack would do? I don't like to read it and say everything. I'd like you all to read, to say what happened here. Biggie kept saying that Jack didn't hit Ralph, but Jack hit someone else. What did he hit? So now he became to be violent. And now he has this kind of look. He took a step and able to at last to hit someone. He wanted to hit someone. You see, he struck his fist into Biggie's stomach. Now he started like, hitting Biggie. Imagine he stuck his fist into Biggie's stomach. Biggie sat down with a grunt. Jack stood over him. His voice was vicious with humiliation. You would you, fatty? So now, when Ralph told him, he couldn't say a word to Ralph. He couldn't hit Ralph. But when Biggie blamed him, he started like hitting Biggie, attacking him physically as well as verbally. He told him fatty and he struck his stomach. Ralph made a step forward and Jack smacked Biggie's head. And again, Jack smacked Biggie's head. He started hitting him. Biggie's glasses flew off and tinkled on the rock. Biggie cried out in terror. So now he not only he hit him, he verbally attacked him, he physically attacked him, he stuck his fist into his stomach, and he smacked his head, and he broke his glasses. You see, he broke his glasses. So he said that my specs, my glasses, and he went crouching and feeling over the rocks. But Simon, who got there first, Simon for sure, the angel, for sure is not an angel, he's a human being. You see? Okay. So Simon was the one who helped Biggie. Simon, passions beat about Simon on the mountaintop with awful winds. You see, so one side's broken. So Simon found out that the glasses had one side broken. Jack broke the glasses of Biggie and he attacked him, smacked his head, stuck his stomach, and even humiliated him. Biggie grabbed and put on the glasses. He looked malevolently at Jack. For sure, mal is always bad. In English, if you have a word starting with mal, it's always bad. You see this one?
Yes.
Yes. So he looked badly at Jack. For sure, imagine if someone with no reason, you didn't make a mistake. Like Biggie just told him that you should have been there. You should have kept the fire on. Like, but you were like, you just went hunting. He didn't say anything more than what Ralph said, right? But despite that, Jack didn't attack Ralph at all. So Jack didn't attack Ralph at all, and instead of attacking Ralph, he just started started attacking Biggie. Is it civilized? Is it civilized?
No, of course.
Is it civilized? If people respect the law, they should do that.
No.
In any country, by the way, in any country which is not civilized, you can find the strong people attacking the weaker or the weak people. You see, in any uncivilized community, like for example, in Egypt, it happens in Egypt. Why? Because like people do not respect the law. So it happens sometimes. Like here also in Saudi Arabia, it happened. Sometimes some Saudi people, they killed foreigners, they killed Egyptians or Palestinians and so on. They killed them. They ran over them with their cars. And they were they were punished for that. But the point is, in any community in which people do not respect the law, the strong ones hit and just they kill the weaker one. That's it. So here we have in this society, they were supposed to British, they were supposed to be civilized, they were supposed to respect the law. But now we have Jack started like hitting Biggie for doing nothing. Biggie just said the truth. And he even not only hit him, he broke his glasses. This is like a hint. Glasses represent science. Like Biggie also represents science. So if glasses represent science and he hit it, so it means that this community is getting away from glasses, is getting away from science. So they are not going to use science anymore. Okay, so here like I got to have them specs. Now I only got one eye. Just you wait, like you see, like like he couldn't do anything. You see, so like he told them, just wait, I'll tell you. Like when he said that, just you wait. Like he couldn't do anything. Vicky couldn't do anything. So now he said that I got to have them, my glasses. Now I only got one eye. He couldn't see because like one of the lenses is broken or was broken. Jack made the move toward Big. Jack was even came closer to Biggie. He was even like Biggie scrambled away, like he ran away till a great rock lay between them. He thrust his head over the top and glared at Jack through this one flashing glass. Now I only got one eye. You wait. Now, like Biggie is as afraid, but at the same time, he wanted to have any kind of dignity. He said that because of you, I have only one eye. Just you wait. Jack mimicked the whine and scramble. Just you wait. Yeah, he imitated Biggie in an ironic way. Like no, like Biggie and Parody were so funny that the hunters began to laugh. So Jack was making fun of Biggie. He was imitating how he spoke. So other hunters started laughing. Jack felt encouraged. He went on scrambling, and the laughter rose to a gale of hysteria. So unwillingly, Ralph felt his lips twitch. He was angry with himself for giving away. He muttered, "That was a dirty trick." So now Ralph defended, it all happened before Ralph. Like Biggie was hit in front of Ralph, and he was mocked at in front of Ralph, and he was humiliated in front of Ralph. And now Ralph finally he started to stand up for Biggie. He said that was a dirty trick. Jack broke out of his, aggravation and stood facing Ralph. His words came in a shout. All right, all right. He looked at Biggie and Hunters at Ralph. I'm sorry about the fire. I mean, he said that. Now, Ralph wanted Jack to apologize for putting the fire out. If you make a mistake, you should apologize, right? In any community, in any civilized community, whenever anyone makes a mistake, this person should apologize. So now Ralph demanded that Jack should apologize. So Jack said, okay, all right. I mean, I'm sorry about the fire. I mean, I'm sorry about the fire. He didn't apologize to Biggie, for what he did to him. Like he was savage and he was rude and he was impolite. He didn't apologize to him at all. He just said, I'm sorry about the fire because he knew it was his mistake. Because such mistake, if he didn't make such mistake, maybe they would have gone home. Maybe. He drew himself up. I apologize. The buzz from the hunters was one of the admiration at this handsome behavior. Like, the hunters admired him for having apology. Clearly, they were of the opinion that Jack had done the decent thing. He had put himself into the right way, generous apology, and Ralph obscurely in the wrong. They waited for an appropriately decent answer. So now the hunters respected Jack for being strong and for fulfilling his words when it comes to hunting, for enabling them to kill an animal, and now they admired him for apologizing because he apologized. And they expected Ralph to, to accept his apology. They accepted Ralph to accept, to say that, okay, no problem, never mind, it's okay, but just please be careful. Next time, try to pay attention to the fire. But it didn't happen. Ralph's throat refused to pass one. Ralph couldn't tell him anything. He resented as an addition to Jack's misbehavior, his verbal trick. The fire was dead. The ship was gone. Couldn't they see anger instead of decency? But the history says that was a dirty trick. Again, he didn't say okay, never mind, it's okay. No, he said that again. That was a dirty trick. He thought that you made a huge mistake. The ship was already gone. They were silent on the mountaintop while the opaque look appeared in Jack's eyes and passed away. Ralph's final word was an egregious matter. All right, light the fire. He said that, okay, all right, light the fire, make the fire. Now Ralph is acting as a leader. Like it's an order, light the fire. So while some positive action before then, a little of tension died. Some tension died. Ralph said no more, did nothing, stood looking down at the ashes around his feet. Jack was loud and active. He gave order. Jack, remember that. This is a turning point, as I told you. Chapter 4 is a turning point. So now Ralph said no more. He didn't speak anymore. He didn't do anything. He stood looking down. He was standing up. And the other side, Jack was loud and active. He gave orders, sang, whistled, threw remarks at the silent Ralph. Like he was referring to Ralph, remarks that didn't need an answer and therefore couldn't invite a snap. And still Ralph was silent. Ralph kept silent. No one, not even Jack, would ask him to move. And in the end, they had to build the fire 3 yards away and in a place not really as convenient. So Ralph was standing in the place of the old fire. He was standing still, and nobody could talk to him, and nobody could ask him to move. So they had to make another fire. Where? 3 yards away, in a place which is not convenient. Convenient. What does convenient mean?
What?
Convenient. What does convenient mean? Convenient. Convenient means appropriate or suitable. Appropriate or suitable. So the first place was suitable, but the second place wasn't that kind of suitable. So Ralph asserted his chieftainship, asserted his leadership, and couldn't have chosen a better way if he had thought for days. He became silent and he became angry. So they looked at him as their leader, and you know that he was angry. So against his weapon, his indefinable and so effective Jack was powerless and raged without knowing. Jack, Ralph knew that he was right, and he knew that Jack was wrong. So he was silent and he was angry, and he wasn't that kind of gentle. Jack didn't know what to do. He was powerless and he raged. He was angry without knowing why. By the time the Bible was built, they were on different sides of the high barrier. They were here, Ralph and Jack, they were on different sides. They are not a group of friends anymore, So when they had dealt with the fire, another crisis arose. Now they lit the fire, but another crisis arose. What happened? They didn't lit the fire, sorry. They didn't light the fire. They collected the bile in order to light the fire. But do you think another crisis means a problem? Another crisis, another problem arose. Do you think what the problem is? Or what the problem was?
They took the glasses.
Yeah, remember the first time when they made fire, they needed the glasses of Biggie, right? Right. So here and now they collected it, but they have a problem. How could they light the fire again without Biggie's glasses? And remember, Jack broke the glasses of Biggie. One eye gone. So to his surprise, Ralph went to Biggie and took the glasses from him. Not even Ralph knew how a link between him and Jack had been snapped and fastened elsewhere. So I'll bring them back. Ralph took the glasses of Biggie and he told him, I'll bring them back. I'll come to. Biggie stood behind him, island in a sea of meaningless color. He didn't know anything, he couldn't see. While Ralph knelt and focused the glossy spots, instantly the fire was alight. Biggie held out his hands and grabbed his glass leg. Yes, before those fantastically attractive flowers of violet and red and yellow and kindness melted away. She said that finally they were okay again. They became circle of boys round a campfire, and even Biggie and Ralph were half drawn in. Soon, some of the boys were rushing down the slope, for more wood. While Jack hacked the big, started cutting the big. They tried holding the whole, carcass of a stake over the fire, but the steak burned more quickly than the pig roasted. So in the end, they screwed like bits of meat on branches and held them in the flames. And even then, almost as much boys was roasted as like they didn't know how to roast a pig. They didn't know, so there were a lot of mistakes. Like to the degree that
Yes.
they were burning themselves as well.
And they
Ralph's
make
mouth,
a half raw meat.
yes, yeah. So
مش
yeah,
مستوية
good, like,
قوي.
yeah, I know, yeah. And some of them were not, and even they were like some like much boys was roasted as meat, you see, and almost as much boys was roasted as meat, you see, like they didn't know yet. So Ralph mouth watered. He meant to refuse meat, but his vast diet of fruit and nuts with an odd crab or fish gave him too little resistance. He accepted a piece of half raw, like like the place itself. They didn't know how to roast it. They burned themselves, and they didn't even like the meat wasn't like well done. It was half raw. You see, it was half raw. It wasn't, the meat wasn't done well. Like what does it mean? It means like it wasn't raw. It wasn't well done. It wasn't soft. It wasn't tender.
medium well يعني.
Yes, yeah, it was half raw. Yeah, but anyways, they ate it. They ate it. Why? Because like they're done with like with vegetables and so on. Big spoke, also dribbling. Aren't I having none? Like he said that. What about me? Aren't you giving to me any meat? Jack had meant to leave him in doubt. Like, Jack, like, meant to leave him, like, we're not going to give you, like, in order to assert his power. But Biggie, by advertising his omission, made more cruelty unnecessary. Like, he says that you didn't hunt. Jack, like,
No more Simon.
yes, yes, Jack,
Biggie said.
yeah, says that you didn't hunt. No more dead Ralph. Biggie, like, Whitley, he said that, but also Ralph didn't hunt, and you gave Ralph meat. Nor Simon, and Simon also didn't hunt, and you gave him meat. He amplified, and there isn't more than, hairbreadth of meat in the crab. Ralph stirred uneasily. Simon, like sitting between the twins and Biggie, wiped his mouth and shoved his piece of meat over the rocks to Biggie. Simon again is an angel. You see, like he gave like Jack. He didn't know how to let's say to make the pig. I mean to cook the pig. So it wasn't well done. But like like everyone wanted to have some meat. So he gave Ralph and he gave Simon and he gave the twins and he gave everyone and he didn't give Biggie. And remember, like he didn't even apologize to Biggie for what he had done before. And then Biggie told him, like, yeah, he wanted to give him. But when Biggie told him, you didn't, aren't I having, like, I haven't, like, aren't I going to have any, you know? So here, like, he started to say, no, you didn't go hunting. He said that neither did Ralph, neither did Simon. In that case, what was the reaction of Simon? Simon gave him his piece of meat. Simon gave like Biggie his bit of meat. Remember, like Simon is an angel. He wasn't an angel. I mean, he's the same as angel. So he wanted to help Biggie. This is the third time he helped Biggie. By the way, the third time. Who grabbed it? Like Biggie grabbed it. Grabbed it means quickly. He took it quickly. The twins giggled, laughed, and Simon lowered his face in shame. Yeah. So then Jack lifted his face, slashed off a great hunk of meat, and flung it down at Simon's feet. Eat. Like, now he gave it to Simon and he said that, damn you, why? Like, why? Like, as you see, we're going to see bad words. This is a very bad word. Why did he say that to Simon? He glared at Simon, take it. That's running out of time. Yes. He said that, take it. He spun to his heel, center of bewildered circle of boys. I got you meat. Numberless and inexpressible frustration combined to make his rage elemental and awe-inspiring. He said that now Jack started talking. He started to be fearful. He said, I painted my face. I stole up. Now you eat, all of you. And now Jack started to tell them, I painted my face. I did all the work. And now all of you eat meat. All of you. And slowly the silence on the mountaintop deepened till the click of the fire and the soft hiss of roasting meat could be heard clearly. Jack looked round, and what is he? Jack looked round for understanding, but found only respect. So Jack was respected. Ralph stood among the ashes of the signal fire, his hands full of meat, saying nothing. So now Jack was telling them, I am your leader. I am the one who feeds you. Like you have meat because of me. You enjoy now because of me. So, and everyone respected him for his power.
Ralph is so mean.
Ralph is now silent. He's eating and he's silent now. Ralph is silent. But even Islam,
Jack's so
Jack,
mean.
yes, for sure he's so mean from day one. He was so mean. So, but just like here, like even in Islam, Muslims are not supposed to be weak. Muslims are strong because people admire the strong. People admire the strong. People do not admire the weak. So you shouldn't be weak in your life at all. Always try to be strong, not unfair, strong. I mean, like, don't put yourself in a weak position. So then at last, Maurice broke his silence, that he changed the subject to the only one he could bring the majority together. He said that, where did you find the bag? Like Roger pointed down unfriendly sign. He says they were there by the sea. Jack, recovering, couldn't bear to have his story told. He broke in quickly. Like even Jack didn't like anyone to speak instead of him. He wanted only to be the one who speaks, and everyone else listens. Now he started broke in quickly. It means he interrupted Roger quickly, and he said, "Was bread around? I crept on hands and knees. The spears, the spears fell out because they hadn't barbs on. The pig ran away and made an awful noise." Yeah, and they started here telling the story. What happened? They kept all of one. They kept speaking. No, like here they kept like telling what happened and how they could they could kill the pig. You understand that? And then they killed it. And after that, they started to. Then Maurice pretended to be the pig. Now after they told the story, Maurice acted to be the pig, and ran squealing into the center. And the hunters, circling still, pretended to beat him. As they danced, they sang, "Kill the pig, cut her throat," bash her in. So what happened here, as you see, like here, they tried to react the scene of killing. But now Maurice acted to be like the pig, and they acted to kill him. But they didn't kill him, like they acted. So, like Ralph watched them, envious and resentful. Like for sure, Ralph wasn't in the mood anymore. Not till they flagged, sorry, and the chant died away, did he speak. He kept silent after he ate. He kept watching them. He didn't say a word at all. He was silent, but he was like resentful and he was angry. And after eating, he said, "I am calling an assembly." What does assembly mean? And we talked it before, by the way. We talked it before. I think even in The Alchemist. So they were dancing. They were in a circle, dancing and singing. And then Ralph said, I am calling an assembly. What does it mean?
A meeting.
Excellent. An assembly means meeting. The word assembly has different meanings, but one of them is a meeting. So now I'd like to imagine the situation. They were dancing, singing, and chanting, acting, reacting the scene of killing. And then, like Ralph, after that, he said, "I am calling an assembly." One by one, they halted. Halted means they stopped. And they stood watching him. They kept looking at him. Where's the conch?
Yes.
I'm calling, yeah. Where's the conch? I'm calling a meeting, even if we have to go on into the dark, down to the platform. When I blow it, now. He turned away and walked off down the mountain. He said that now we're going to have a meeting. My question is, what do you expect him to say at that meeting? What do you expect him to say?
Apologize to Piggy.
Who apologized to Biggie? Who? Ralph?
No,
Jack? So out of our experience, out of our experience with Jack, do you expect him to say sorry to Biggie?
No, of course.
No, of course not. Of course not. Like he killed an animal, and like now he's adding, even like he's putting blood. Like at the beginning when he saw blood in his hand, he didn't.
And if he didn't apologize, I think Piggy will take his هياخد حقه.
Seriously?
Yes.
You think that? So what makes you? Why do you think that Biggie would be able to take his right?
Because I think Ralph will teach him how to
stand up for himself.
Defend. Yes.
Yes. So do you think that Biggie and Ralph are friends?
They will be friends.
They will be friends. Excellent. A very good view. So you expect Ralph and Biggie to be good friends, and then you expect Ralph to teach Biggie and stand up for himself, and you think that Biggie will take revenge, right?
Yes.
and Jack will be punished for his misbehavior. Okay, very good, Ahmed. Now, Amr and Lina, what about you? What do you expect to happen in chapter 5? I know that we have just maybe 3 minutes only, but just what do you expect to happen in chapter 5? Like we had the point of view of Ahmed. What about you?
Same.
The same, like the same. So why do you think that Rolf would get closer to Biggie? Like Ralph looks at all other big children. They look at Biggie as an outsider. He doesn't fit in. His accent is different. He makes a lot of mistakes when he speaks. He couldn't see well. He's wearing glasses. He had asthma. He has asthma, and also he didn't like to work. And Ralph hated his his being laziness. He hated his laziness. So why do you think that they could be friends? Why?
Maybe because he got sad for Biggie.
You mean that because like he felt sad for Biggie for what happened to him? You mean because he was punished by
Yes.
Jack? Maybe. Okay, very good. So now, Amr, what about you?
I think that I think that Jack will not get along with Ralph, and they will make two groups.
Excellent. Yes, very good. So which groups will be with Ralph? Which group, which children will be with Ralph? For example, if you think it's right, and which will be with Jack? I mean, the majority will be with Ralph or with Jack?
I think the majority will be with
Jack?
Ralph.
Ralph. So now Lena said Jack and you said Ralph. So Lena, why Jack? Or Amr, why Ralph? Why do you think that the majority of children will go with Ralph?
Because they are scared of the actions of Jack.
So if you're scared of someone or afraid of someone, would you follow this person or you pick another one?
Pick another one.
Yeah, pick another one. Yeah, but just but this is on an island. There is no law to protect them. So it's not up to you to say that I'm scared of you, so I'm going to pick another one. You see, I mean, like what he did. Like sometimes there are children. Imagine some of them are just 6 years old. So maybe because they're afraid of Jack, maybe like they would follow Jack because they're afraid of him because they would like to protect themselves against him. You see my point? You see the point? So we will see. It's true. Like all of you are right. Believe it or not, all of you are right to a degree. To a degree. I'm saying that, yeah, at the end of the story, Biggie and Ralph, like Ralph will discover that he truly, like Biggie was his friend. Okay? At the end of the story, but not in chapter 5. And being into two groups, this is what actually will happen. Very good. They will be divided into
Biggie
two
will
groups.
take his revenge.
You will see, honey. No, but you will see what will happen to him. Yeah, maybe on the day of judgment, if this story was real, for sure he's going to take his But seriously, like a drama will happen to like a melodrama, a tragic things would happen to Biggie. So okay, so inshallah in chapter 5 we're going to see what will happen, inshallah. So and I will send you chapter 5, and by the end of the week you will have another quiz. The quiz will cover not the words but the events, what will happen and then what will happen and so on. So again, I just like you to read it, just to try to understand the boys, what will happen, what Ralph will do, what Biggie will do, what Simon will do, and so on. And put in your mind when you're reading, Jack uncivilized, Ralph civilized, Simon and Angel, Biggie is science, and other children. Yeah, other children, younger children. Yeah, I forgot to do this moment and have this then 1 minute. You see, other children like the same people, like common people, like people, الشعب. يعني all young children like the same people, like they need someone to follow only. So think of that in your mind. All other children are the same as other people in any community. They need someone. They need leaders, and the leaders are not Biggie, sorry, Ralph or Jack. Only those. So next time we're going to see which one deserves to be a leader, and if they had another chance, they would pick Jack or they would pick Ralph, and what would happen? We will see, inshallah, next time. So that's